and gentlemen, welcome to Mike and Dave Hit the Stage. I am Dave.
Hello, I'm Mike.
And we have a special guest. For the first time, we have Mike, the Angry Wizard, sitting here looking at me very awkwardly.
And getting bright red, like he's like... like people are going to judge you. Yes.
Well, they are going to judge you because you judge them.
Exactly. I judge everybody.
So today's the beginning of Black History Month, and we figured since we are three of the least qualified people to talk about African American history, African American music, or the culture of African American music, we're doing Black History Month our way. So we're going to start this off with I believe this is a noogie choice.
Oh, yeah, by the way, because there's two mics here today, you don't have to call me Noogie. You can call me Nugs, you can call me whatever you want.
Technically, there are 5 mics, 3 microphones, and you two idiots.
Oh, you're a dick.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh, shit, what happened? I got sidetracked there because you called me Noogie. All right, so what's the first song?
Your first track is Dawn Penn with You Don't Love Me.
Oh, yeah.
Is Oh No No.
Yeah.
This is this is the classic. Like I the only real note I have about this sounds like the summer of 1994.
It came out in Actually, it hit in 1994. It was actually, I'm not sure if this one was recorded in 1967.
Yes.
But it was originally recorded in 1997. I'm sorry, 1967, and it became popular in 94, which is when I graduated high school.
Yes.
And started going out to, well, back then, they didn't check IDs, so I went to clubs and stuff like that. And, being a punk guy or a heavy metal guy, to meet girls in New York City, it was very hard to meet girls that listen to what we listen to.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I had to go to the clubs. And this was a pick that it helped being into ska and all that stuff, because this is where it came from.
Yes.
This actually, looking this up, is not considered reggae.
How?
Isn't it
It's
dancehall?
It's actually considered rocksteady.
Okay.
It was
which is another branch.
It was in
off
between,
of reggae.
They said it was in between original ska, which was from Jamaica, and reggae. It's like more almost more soulful.
Yes, this song is ultra soulful.
Yeah.
But not knowing that this was originally recorded in 67, my main notes are that this is because I don't know shit about reggae, really. Like, I know what has been played in the past. This is what reggae is supposed to sound like. This is, to me, this is that energy.
Yeah, this is not from the island. This is not from America.
Yeah, no, definitely not. This feels so flowing and so relaxed.
What I notice is that nothing changes in it. There's no change for the chorus. There's no change for a bridge.
But that's also, I think, with the dance, like I keep calling it the dance hall stuff.
Yeah, it's close.
It's essentially quote unquote dance music, but it's always the same thing over and over. Because this is what I made a point with all the stuff you guys gave me not to try to do research on it.
Yeah,
this one I had to.
Yeah.
And I found the original version, and I was like, holy shit. Can we curse?
Yes.
Okay. Holy shit. This is great.
Do you remember
Yeah, I know,
Christmas?
but I had to stop and ask myself again anyway.
Him just going,
I have
"It's
a throwback
Christmas."
to Christmas also.
Oh, great.
But anyway, I went back to the original version, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the one that you guys had sent me, and I'm like, eh. And then I found another live version. I think it was done in the later 90s where she's got an actual band behind her doing it.
Uh-huh.
And it is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a 8 to 10 piece band.
Exactly. I have the YouTube links on my notes. I'll give it to you later.
Yeah.
Which we will probably include on our website, hitthestagepodcast.com.
Oh, snap. He said it for the first time.
So this song it feels like 1994. 1994, 93 to 97 had just every summer had these songs that they were their own thing. They were their own energy.
And this is only the first one that I picked. I could have picked 1,000 of these.
I know.
And
that's why these are going to be recurring themes, especially when we talk about other cultures and black culture and reggae and these stuff. This is stuff I want to learn about.
Yeah.
And ska's a pretty good way to go backwards into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next one is a my choice, and I feel absolutely no guilt for this.
What?
Good Golly, Miss Molly by Little Richard.
Oh no! You know what this did to me? It reminded me of being in the back of the car going from my grandmother's house to my house. My grandmother was in South Ozone Park, right? We had to take out the Van Wyck. It was hot. My dad's car had no AC, and we were listening to songs from, and this is scary, 30 years ago, which would have been the 50s. Mm-hmm. Right? Which is crazy because my kids, right, they'll listen to Nirvana, and that's 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's what, as soon as this came on, I looked up when it came out. And I think it was 58? I
Yes.
think. And and I was like, holy, that's me listening to songs 30 years ago that my parents grew up listening to.
Yeah. My mom loves Little Richard.
Yeah.
And I only pointed it out recently that this is a gay black man talking about fucking white women in the 50s, and nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah, but the reason nobody cared, because again, I did a little bit of a deep dive onto it, and it's basically when he was doing all his like the pompadour hair and
Yeah.
the makeup and this and that, and he had his band doing the same thing. So back in the 50s with segregation and everything, they could actually get into the clubs to play, and because he was so flamboyant, he was he was like
Non-threatening.
thank you, non-threatening.
Is
Yeah.
that really what it was?
Yeah.
Huh.
But he was, I mean, it was straight up. He was so outlandish.
Yeah.
And so flamboyant. And his performances were phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's also, people forget, he's also playing the piano while singing.
Yeah.
And hard. He doesn't play light. He's a heavy hitter. And hitting piano keys is rough. It's especially, most of the time, the piano's only lightly mic'd. Back then, it was just a microphone into the cavity. It's crazy to think about it. And then you wonder if he ever tried to play it straight. Because everything we ever saw about Little Richard, he was just being Little Richard.
Yeah.
Which is a little scary, because imagine the voice in his head is also that. It's like, you're no good. Woo!
Wow.
Just, can you imagine that?
I can't imagine you just did that.
Yeah, I got a weird range. None of it's good. The other thing I always wonder, like, why was he never recognized for being the piano player that he was? Because Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles are known for being these amazing piano players. Little Richard's as good, if not better.
Maybe because it was a rock piano.
Yeah,
He's
rock
banging
piano
on it.
Rock
Right?
piano has a lot to do with it, I would think, and also Ray Charles not so much, but like Stevie Wonder was later in history when it was more. I can't think of the right way to say it, but it was more. People were more into the musicianship on it than they were before. Before it was just the band's up there, the band's playing. The band's never got any recognition. It was just a singer that was up there.
Yeah, I guess that's right. It makes sense, but it always feel like he never got the recognition. Him being very flamboyantly gay and being that far out in the front of everything, he's also not really listed as a gay icon, which is
No.
weird.
Yeah,
Like-
it's not even. It's
like-
not. Yeah, he's not even. It never comes up.
Yeah. And it's not like he was hiding it. His book, which came out in 87, 88,
I don't know.
The Quasar Rock and Roll, he talks about having sexual experiences with men then, and even then, nobody cared. And
Yeah.
it's so weird, like, how ostracized people were for coming out in that time.
Right.
Well, I think his father threw him out of the house.
Yes.
because of it.
And that's where, like, being out on the street, and he was working some chicken place, that's where he met, oh man, James Brown. They met in a chicken house, like
Really?
in the 50s.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to do my thing with my band. He goes, you should do whatever you want, but make sure you do it all the way. And that's
Yeah.
that's Little Richard's mantra: do it all the way.
Yeah.
And that's why we have James Brown being the singer he was. And I always thought that was interesting, and I always thought that was inspiring as a musician, just to push other people that way.
Yeah.
And then we have to go to somebody even more obscure, but just as important, if not more important, to rock and roll heavy metal, and that's Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
This was Mike's pick.
This is a Mike pick, and this
It was awesome.
This is what This is what heavy metal started as. I
This
don't
is
give
what,
a
no,
fuck.
hell with heavy metal. This is what everything that we listen to today comes from.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. And like I had done a little read up on her before, and like I gotta like just looking at my notes, the first thing I heard, I was like, well, that's where freaking Creedence Clearwater Revival got it from. Just
And
listening
Hendrix.
to it. And Hendrix. And
Clapton.
She inspired Little Richard. She inspired Chuck Berry. Elvis was a huge fan of hers. And this is like where all the modern rock and roll starts,
Yeah.
but nobody remembers it.
Can I tell you something? Because you do something a little different than me and Dave do. We just send each other the songs.
Yeah.
You sent the videos.
Okay, well, I was just going through YouTube, and
No,
that wasn't the
but the
best.
greatest thing is like I'm watching this and I'm like, what the hell? And then she grabs a fucking guitar and starts rocking out, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
I'm gonna correct you there. She doesn't grab a guitar. She grabs a triple humbucker pickup SG.
Yeah.
This is the same kind of guitar that Angus Young played.
No, triple pickup is what Nigel from freaking Spinal Tap played.
I'm gonna stare at you. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna stare at you. I have complaints.
Complaints about this?
No. Rosetta Tharpe, she was so interesting and so powerful. Her voice was powerful.
Yeah.
And her guitar playing was better than most modern guitarists.
Right.
Like if you look at like what was going on at the time, nobody was playing like that except
Yeah.
the country guys.
It was so surprising to see
And
this.
also,
it
when
was
you watch it, she ain't using a microphone.
nope.
right.
She is just fucking belting it out.
Yeah.
And that belting makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
That power doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like you watch old videos of James Brown, you can see he's throwing his voice.
Yeah.
You look at Little Richard. Little Richard's voice was just all push. And then Sister Rosetta Tharpe, she's traditionally, you can see her when she breathes, you can see this goes in, her chest comes up, and then the sound comes out. And that is pure projection.
Yeah.
It's hard to even critique it because there's nothing to complain about.
No.
Other than the fact that there are only like 4 or 5 videos of her and very little recording on the internet.
What year was that, by the way?
Oh my god.
Was that 40?
I want to say it was the 40s.
That was early 50s, like 52,
50s?
53.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guarantee Luigi will have information on that.
Yeah.
Luigi is like the encyclopedia. You're correcting us. I got a list of corrections from Luigi. Luigi, I love you. I'm not reading all that on this podcast. It was 6.5 pages. It was so good. I mean, all of it was correct. Luigi was great, respectful in how he did it, but there was so much, and we're gonna have to pull him in. And I'm gonna make him read it
Jesus Christ.
because it's so much. But like, I don't even want to get off of the subject of Rosetta Tharpe because of how many guitarists that she inspired. Some of them 2 or 3 generations down because they may have never heard her,
Right.
but they heard someone who worshipped her.
Right.
Like if you listen to Hendrix plays like that. John Fogerty and Creedence, they have that sound, almost exactly that sound, almost like they heard it and said, "We need to do this."
Yeah.
The Led
Exactly
Zeppelin
what it
method.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin sounds like this because they wanted to, because everybody wanted to be this. They wanted to be somebody on this list. I don't know about the next one. I don't know if anybody wanted to be this.
What's that?
This is your second pick, "Poison" by Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah, man. Now remember you wanted to know what the Brother Will song was. This
Yes.
is it.
Okay.
This is you wanted a starty. You wanted a starty.
Started.
You wanted a party to start. You played this, and I'll tell you, Brother Will danced like it brought the house down, and this. I just wanted to bring this to the front because we lost Brother Will in 2010, and so many people didn't get to enjoy him. You've met him, Mike.
A handful of times.
You know,
yeah.
and I mean, he was just happy all the time. He never judged anybody. He never had a bad time that I can think of. To a point that when he was sick, he wouldn't let us know. He told us that it was a baseball injury, you know, like a softball injury. And then, and then he passed by himself, and his memorial in Nyack was everybody who he touched, and it was a full house.
That's what you do for those you love. And to be the party guy, and like you said, once he realized something was wrong and he stopped being the party guy and started just being the guy,
Right.
but was still the party guy. I love that. I love that somebody changed the thing that normally would define somebody,
Right.
and still was the person without having.
Well, it was you know what's amazing is that he stopped drinking, right, and nobody even questioned it. It was just he was just like, nah, I'm gonna drink sodas from now on. And everybody's like, okay, you know,
Because he didn't make it. He didn't
Right.
make it the big deal.
yeah.
I only drink sodas now, or
Right,
I'll
no.
take a seltzer and cranberry.
And that was just him, you know. But getting back to the song, it's also again, it's an early '90s song.
Oh yeah,
This is back when that I guess it was that East Coast Belle Biv DeVoe,
go ahead, Nate.
Boys to Men, right?
You're missing a couple of people.
Go ahead.
You're missing where they started from, because they didn't just pop on the scene with this. These are founding members
Philly.
of no. These are founding members of Another Bad Creation.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, this is Bobby Brown, Johnny Gill, Belle Biv, and DeVoe.
yeah.
Yeah, that was ABC. That was
Yeah.
the kids.
Yeah.
And when they got older, they split into Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown, his years of issues aside, was a really good writer.
Right.
Johnny Gill was a great writer, and these guys made probably one of the best dance party songs you could imagine, with the best tagline in a song ever. Never trust a big butt and a smile. Okay, I've
how
always joked about what the title of my autobiography would be.
That's it?
No. It's Chicken Parm and Fat Ass is a love story. And on the back it should say never trust a big butt and a smile.
Now I'm
Notes from
disappointed
the
Mike
author.
didn't say it with us.
Sorry.
He saw us go and he's like, I have to watch these two idiots in unison. He got stupid in stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this song. There's like it's one of those songs that, although not really part of Black history, it's part of music history.
Why is it not part of Black history?
What changed? What was affected by this song?
Hip hop.
Hip hop really. This
Is R&B. This is more
No,
R&B.
but
It's
even-
more R&B.
But
I'd
even
say.
even in the hip hop R&B world, this wasn't groundbreaking. It was perfect for what it was, perfect for the time, but it wasn't. I don't think it changed the world. Like
I feel like I'm being scolded.
no, not at all. I am making fun of you.
You picked the wrong song, asshole. Then that means my next pick is wrong too.
Don't worry, my next one's wrong too. So.
Actually, no, and I have complaints about that too, for different reasons. The only reason I say it doesn't change anything is it wasn't a radical change in either direction.
Oh yeah.
But it was perfect, and it does need to be recognized as part of this, especially the late '80s, early '90s hip hop and R&B culture, because it was perfect in the middle of everything. It showed exactly what could be done with old school beats and a new school attitude.
Yeah.
And for that, it's 100% awesome. There are no downsides. This is one of those things that I guarantee if I played it downstairs for my parents,
Yeah.
my dad would be bopping along to it. He loves it. And I think that's also words to live by for him, because, you know,
What? Oh,
the apple don't fall far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? So now the next one, the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Voodoo Child: A Slight Return.
Yeah.
This is heavy
Fucking
metal.
Hendrix.
It's
That's all you gotta say.
it's
It's fucking Hendrix.
it's Hendrix, but it's also this. It's a force, and it's.
Whose pick was this? Yours? Okay.
I always say I never remember the other members of the Experience. Who
I could never.
Mitch
I could
Mitchell and
Oh, here we go.
you could make up names?
No.
Timmy Armstrong. I don't know.
Hey, I know Tim
I know.
No, Mitch Mitchell was the drummer. I
Yeah.
can't remember the bass players.
Little Johnny Herzberg. Who cares?
No, that was from the different.
There is nothing specifically amazing about the rhythm of the song. It's a great song. There's nothing. It is his soloing and
Yeah.
his attitude and energy. This is the song and the performance that got the name heavy metal out there as a style.
Yeah.
Because this is the song from the performance where Rolling Stone said it sounded like heavy metal falling from the sky.
Is this? Yeah.
This is the song.
Okay.
This is the energy that created the music that we grew up and we built on.
Well, this reminds me of the pool hall in high school. You know, this is the jukebox.
And as a kid, I didn't hear this version.
Okay.
My dad listened to Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I heard the Stevie Ray Vaughan version. And honestly, I like the Stevie Ray Vaughan version better, but it's because of what I experienced as a kid.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing for me. Like with Hendrix, my mom actually had Are You Experienced on vinyl.
Yeah.
So then you get like freaking 10-year-old me going, oh, what the hell is this? And I pop it on. And like Voodoo Child, it's a great song. I'm not knocking it, but if I think Hendrix, I'm thinking Purple Haze. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Like for me, freaking Manic Depression. That song is freaking insane.
So
But it's what you grew up on. It's the same thing.
It's what you're exposed to.
is this not a like this?
It is no, it's a popular song.
Oh, okay.
But it's just my first exposure to Hendrix.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Your first exposure to, let's say, Maiden or whoever. That first album you get, even if it's a later album that's not that great, not
That's
that
what you
popular,
base it on.
That's what you fell in love with.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be your go-to.
Gotcha.
And this is the archetype for so many guitarists. Not only their sound, but their style and their equipment. I know guys, I've run into guys recently that I knew for years that their entire setup is a Dallas Arbiter fuzz pedal, a wah pedal, into a Fender amp using a Strat, and that's it. That is the Jimi Hendrix sound.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get nasty with it, you put two wah pedals together and you link them with a board, and then you get that extra wah out of it. That is Jimi Hendrix's tone through his entire career. Unfortunately, his career was cut short at the age of 27
Yeah.
by overdose. But this lives forever. If the guitarist says they don't like Jimi Hendrix, question whether or not they're a guitarist, question whether or not they're human.
Yeah.
Because there's something about Jimi Hendrix. I'm not a fan of him as a person. I am a fan of his music and his style. This is the guy who inspired guys like Dimebag and guys like everyone else. Clapton. Loved him. Clapton changed his style to match Hendrix.
Really?
Yeah.
He saw what Hendrix was doing and said, I want to do that.
I think it might have been Clapton, Jimmy Page, and was it Jeff Beck?
Jeff Beck, yeah.
That saw Hendrix live, and they were like, huh, well, shit, we got to up our game. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it was.
It was that, this is the competition. We need to step it up. And when you get the guy from Seattle taking on the British blues guys, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we need to work on this. That's impressive.
Cool.
And he was only active like in the big scene for 4 or 5 years.
Is that it? What?
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
70 to 74 or something like that, or?
It was
68.
68 to 70.
67?
Yeah, 68 to 73 or 74.
I think
Yeah.
73.
Because he played Woodstock
Yeah.
in 69. And he opened day 2, I think.
I don't remember.
But he opened with the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, and
the
that's where
other
you got that,
iconic
yeah.
performance.
Right.
Every guitarist who's ever played the Star Spangled Banner is trying to play it like him.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody on a flamenco guitar somewhere does it differently, but everyone else who tries it,
Yeah.
I've seen Zakk Wylde do the national anthem. He's trying to play Jimi Hendrix doing the national anthem.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it.
Right.
So, perfect, iconic. It changed heavy metal. He was inspired by Rosetta Tharpe, which pushed everything forward.
Yeah.
These guys just shoved music in the right direction. And then, everyone steals.
Yeah.
Everyone steals. And now we're going to talk about Mike's choice, and I'm going to yell at you.
Go for it.
This is Barry White and the Love Unlimited Orchestra with Love's Theme. I sat through this entire song waiting
Waiting
for
for the
Barry
vocals.
White to sing, and not a goddamn word was spoken.
I did that on purpose, actually.
I love Barry White's voice. I've always liked Barry White's voice. His energy, his style, he was sweet. Like there was a sweet soulfulness. Even when he was singing aggressively, there was this power and this energy of like
It was a
enveloping.
presence.
It was a pure presence. Very much like James Brown, where there's this constant presence and energy that's in all of his music. Even when he was singing somebody else's stuff, it had that energy. And Barry White had this. It's a hug.
Yeah.
His voice is a hug. I don't give a fuck how weird that sounds.
I understand what you're talking about, and I have the same complaint because I did the same thing. I was on the Southern State sitting in traffic, and I'm like, it's gotta kick in eventually. And it just kept going, and I'm like, all right, it's a long intro. It's a long intro.
6 minutes, you're like,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's and I always forget he was able to lead a band like that.
A
Yeah.
40-piece orchestra.
Yes, an orchestra. in the tradition of guys like Cab Calloway and my brain's drawn a blank to some of the big band guys. Count Basie. These guys were huge with big bands and organizing and singing while conducting, and everyone knew how to do their job, and everyone sounded amazing, and they sounded amazing on top. And Barry White was able to do that.
Yeah.
I felt bad that I didn't get to hear his voice in this,
Yes.
and I was angry.
That's angry.
Angry. I was at work in the front office. What I do is I throw my notes up on the computer screen. I have the tablet next to me, listening to music, checking for work in between songs. But I'm typing. I'm like, this motherfucker. I cannot believe he got me with this.
It's like a sneeze that just never comes.
Yeah, you got to stare at the sun for a second,
Yeah.
or look at a fluorescent light. Yeah, it's so good, and
It's so well put together. And the other thing is, the background to it is when he was doing his solo thing, then he had 3 backup singers, so it was Barry White and Love Unlimited, which were the 3 backup singers. Then they put it to the orchestra, and he actually came out with one album of all instrumental stuff like this.
Yeah.
Which is where
Barry White and Love Unlimited
but
Orchestra.
also where I pulled it in from.
Yeah, and the performance, if you watch the video, and the video will be available through the YouTube Music stuff, you can always switch over to video. It's available there, and the video is phenomenal. He's dancing while conducting. That energy, that hug, that exists with Barry White is there. You can feel his love for the music, his energy with the music, and everyone involved is not just showing up to collect a paycheck and play. Mm-hmm. And that means so much especially in bigger bands. You know, when somebody could just be like, "Yeah, I'm getting paid $100 to play the violin or whatever."
And the other part of it, like the way I look at a lot of the songs on this and the songs that I put on the list and everything is you guys have played in bands with me, so you know how I attack things. Like I'll dissect it and look at it musically and all the different whatever. This song actually takes me, how you were talking about with driving with your parents. Mm-hmm. This one actually takes me back from when I was young visiting my father. He always had the easy listening stations and all this, and then you got freaking snot-nosed 14, 15-year-old me like, hey, I got Dream Theater, and I'm putting it on, and it's freaking him out.
Yeah.
And we're driving, and like this, I remember this song in particular came on, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I could see, like, and whenever he would play his easy listening stuff, I'd be like, this is bullshit. Because again, snot-nosed 15-year-old, however the hell old I was, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot going on, all the different layers and everything else. That's like the main reason I threw it on also.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that Phil Collins big band project.
Yes, exactly.
But only because this is what led to things like the Phil Collins big band. That only happened, that was 2004?
No, it was 90-something.
Was it 90s?
Like 97, something, 98, something like that.
Fuck, I'm old.
Don't get me started.
I know, you're both older than me. I'm the youngest person in the room. Feels good.
All right, take it easy.
I've had more surgery than both of you combined, and I'm younger.
Yeah. Listen, one of the first surgeries I had was when I broke my ankle 10 years ago.
And so
oh my God, it's 12, coming up on 13
you were
years
in
ago.
your late 30s?
I was in my,
First surgery before the age of 10.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, that was dental work.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I was
dental
born-
work is not surgery.
Oh, no, this was surgery.
Why would they take you?
I was born with tooth buds, which are they're like teeth, but they're very small, and they were right in the front. Then my baby teeth came in and pushed them forward, and then my adult teeth started to come in, and the other ones couldn't come out, so they were just all getting. I was going to get buck teeth.
What the fuck is a tooth bud?
It's calcium deposit buildup, and now the thing is,
It's a thing of nightmares.
Really?
No, I had a nightmare mouth when I was a baby. So when I was in second grade, they took out all 4 of my front teeth on the top.
The adult ones?
No, the baby ones.
Oh.
No, these are all mine. Not that they're very good, but they're all mine. But they needed to make the space for my adult teeth to come in. So I had to have a surgical procedure to have all those teeth removed. And it was the first time I had anesthesia and the first time I had surgery. And at that time, there are kids dying from overuse of anesthesia during surgeries. So my mom was freaking out. I went through the surgery and it took them like an hour to get me up, like to wake me up. My mom was freaking out. She's like, oh, is he going to be like this forever?
Jesus.
Because I was just laying there, eyes open, not responding.
Oh my god.
So my mom freaked out. You've seen my mom. She has a really fucked up sense of humor.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
So it happened.
Yeah.
So I went through this weird surgery. That was the first one. The most recent one, little lower abdomen work.
All right, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
This always happens where we go. At one point, I'm listening to this about tooth buds and all this, and I go, "Where the fuck did we turn?"
Black History Month.
What happened?
The orthodontist who did the surgery happened to be African American. I don't know what to tell you. He was, but that's not even part of this conversation. I think I broke Mike's.
Yeah, you broke me.
All right. So back on topic. The next one is a Mike pick, and this is Scenario by Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, man.
Now,
And Leaders of a New School.
I know very little about this, but I know they're hip hop icons, and usually they were clean, weren't they?
No.
This was completely clean. There was
No,
not
it's
a.
not.
Did I miss something?
Busta Rhymes says "motherfucker" at the end of it.
Does he?
Yes.
I must have missed that.
And I know this is going to probably make half your listeners turn
Oh,
off right now.
you mean that Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah,
reference?
exactly.
I said, did he pick this song for one Dungeons and Dragons reference?
I'm actually going around work doing my thing, and I just hear "rawr" like a Dungeon's Dragon. I'm like, what the fuck did I just hear?
I saw it. I'm like, he didn't. He
No,
couldn't have.
it's not why I picked it. No, it's. All right, we're talking about Black history. This was my history. This song.
Oh,
was,
your Black history?
Yeah.
I think I broke him.
Wow.
Ow.
No. So this was another early '90s.
Yes.
Right? And this was another song that helped me get into. I never really got into hip hop, but this it broke the glass a little bit. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because back in the day, I mean, you know the way it was. I mean, you listen to heavy metal, and everybody was like, you're not supposed to allow rap. You're not supposed to like it. And I did.
I went to an all boys Catholic high school, and the terminology they used for hip hop
Right.
was abysmal.
Right.
It was so aggressive.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't listening to it at the time, but I'm like, why the hate? Like,
Yeah.
why do we hate
Right.
another group of people for that?
Right. So
I never got it.
So
Like, I
this
never
was
got
this
it.
was another, little tap on the glass, and I'm like, I like this. And then this was the introduction of Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
He was 19 when he did that.
Was he only
He was
19?
19.
He's like 140 now. What happened? Him and Coolio look like they had matching fucking brain problems.
Rest in peace, Coolio.
I was going to
Whatever.
say,
I don't care if he's dead.
Whoa!
He had one hit.
No, he had a few. Huh? Fantastic Voyage,
Okay.
Gangsta's Paradise.
Wait, Fantastic Voyage, wasn't that the thing where he just resampled?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Fantastic Voyage was its own song, and he just said, hey, I could ride that. And that was like not even a little bit. That was just the complete Fantastic Voyage. Was that George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic?
or was it just Parliament?
Oh, it was Parliament.
I don't.
It was one or the other. George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic, or the Parliament Funkadelic, or Funkadelic, who knows?
Or Parliament.
Or Parliament. Or the Parliaments, where it started. Terrible. It's terrible naming.
All right.
No, that was all just done for record label purposes.
Yes, I know. It's right up there with Starship, Jefferson Starship, Airplane, Jefferson Airplane.
And then you also had the Alan Parsons Project, which I think was some kind of hovercraft or something like that.
Fuck Alan Parsons. He's not on the list. He's not on the list. But fuck him. I don't have a good reason either. Just fuck him.
Oh, man.
I love how many verses there are in this.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with the lack of a chorus. There's so little. Like there's like,
Yeah. But that's the whole but here's the thing.
but it gives 19 people a shot.
Yeah. Well, that's because there was two groups.
Yeah, it was two groups coming together.
And but you have so many. You have Q-Tip in there. You have Busta Rhymes. And then you have. Why are you looking at me like that for?
Because that's your fucking face.
You don't have no
I
idea.
No clue. I knew who Busta Rhymes was, and the second I heard his voice, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Busta Rhymes.
Right. Now, I got to tell you that as much as I love this song, whatchamacallit? What's the fuck? I forgot. Go on. I forgot what I was going to say.
So the next
I lost
step is
it.
to move on to the
Damn
next
it.
band. So if it comes into your head,
Yeah,
just yell it out.
Jump in. God damn it.
So Mike's choice was September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
You skipped one.
Did I skip one? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped mine.
Yeah, well, was it
You
terrible?
want to loop around to it then, or
No,
Okay.
we'll go into
okay?
Cult of Personality by Living Color.
Oh, that's why you skipped it.
I didn't skip it on purpose. I actually really,
I
I
would've.
really
Fucking
enjoy the song.
fantastic
I
song.
know I've heard it enough.
I
You've
love
heard
this
it
song.
enough.
Now you're both gonna yell at me. Here
No,
we
no,
go.
no. One of the things
You
I
know
love
who
about
ruined
this
this for me? Earl Douglas.
Oh yeah, Earl Douglas from the Black Earl Show on Sirius, and
Well, it's not Black Earl show.
well,
He's on Bennington. There's no
Yeah.
Black Earl show.
yeah, the Black Earl Show. He took over. His entrance music was Cult of Personality, but as far as entrances go, CM Punk used this for years, up until his departure from AEW. Still did.
Yeah.
Not my favorite intro music for him or
For
intro
anybody
music.
really, for a wrestler, but it's still just a fantastic
Yeah,
song.
it is fantastic, and it's weird because the main riff is in 5. Here he goes. He's counting
7.
He's playing in 7. It's not in a standard 4/4, which is weird for popular music.
Right.
I think it's in 7.
He's gonna tap it
I'm
out.
just gonna
in
be
the
tapping it out for the next 15 minutes.
So it's these guys were not your typical musicians at the time. One all black band that hadn't been seen in a
it's
long
in
time.
4.
What?
It's in 4.
It's in 4?
The drummer's playing in 4.
No, the guitarist is not though.
but it's still he's got the break in there, so it still wraps. Around.
Yeah.
It still lands in the 4/4 beat.
This is that argument that you have. This stuff's not all the UFK stuff is in 4. I was playing in 5, and we met at 20. That's how that works. But this band has amazing musicians.
Mm-hmm.
It was Doug Wimbish, Philip Bonneau at one point. I can't remember the guitarist's name offhand, and I'm gonna get yelled at.
Yeah,
for this
so am I. I'm gonna yell at myself for this because I would. Oh my fucking god.
Corey Glover was singing, and still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only member that's changed is the bassist.
Correct. Yeah.
It went from Doug Wimbish to Philip Bonneau.
And oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the drummer's name too. He's freaking insane. He's so fucking good.
They're all amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing musicians, and I know you're not in love with this song because you've heard it to death.
Yeah.
But this changed popular music. The MTV generation got to see this, and
Okay, no, go ahead.
up until that point, you didn't see
Vernon Reed.
Vernon Reed playing guitar. You didn't see bands, all black bands,
Yeah.
playing heavy. You didn't, there are others on this list that we're going to bring up that are very important, but this was the first time you saw them on TV.
Yeah.
And these are the guys that, I have friends who were like, I saw Vernon Reed play and I thought, oh, black guys play metal. I can play metal. And this goes back to Lemmy. Lemmy had this thing where he was reading letters from fans.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys wrote in saying, his friends make fun of him because he's black and listen to heavy metal. He goes, well, find new friends.
Yeah.
Because if your friends don't love you for who you are and what you listen to, you don't need them. Words to live by. Lemmy. Who thought?
Yeah, of all people.
But these guys really, they had the one big hit. They had a really good first album. Their consecutive albums are just really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Once they got Philip Bonneau in, Philip Bonneau, from my experience, I really got to know him from Steve Vai's band, and him and T.M. Stevens going back and forth on bass over a few years were really, really interesting. And I always thought that was really, really fun. And he added this whole other energy and these big effects and loops underneath all the music that they were still playing, and he's playing all this other stuff behind them.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah. I'll have to give it a listen because I never got into them.
It's one of those things, if you didn't know, you'd seek them out,
Yeah.
or you didn't.
One thing you might want to check out also, and I actually got more into them than Living Color, was another band, but a little bit later on that Vernon Reed was producing and working with was you're going to laugh at the name, but Screaming Headless Torsos.
Okay.
He has brought this up to me before, and they are amazing.
It's freaking, rhythmically, it's insane. It's a 5-piece band, vocals, one guitar, bass, drums, percussionist.
Yeah.
And, they take Living Colors going one way, they just take it, make a right, and just go even further off
Weirder.
the deep end.
But they're really good. If you can tolerate, if you get past the monotony in your head from the original Cult of Personality,
Yeah.
listen to anything else they've done, and then listen to Screaming Headless Torsos. They're so out there.
All right.
And they rock. They
Yeah.
really do. And now we go to Earth, Wind, and Fire, September.
Right.
And
which is there's nothing to say.
there's plenty to say.
It's perfect. I love this song.
Yes.
The thing to say is, who doesn't like Earth, Wind, and Fire?
I got to say one thing also. We saw them live a handful of years ago.
Yeah.
One of the best concerts I have ever seen, period. End of story.
Really?
That's it. One of the best live
I do have a
bands.
question about that.
Uh-huh.
Are there 3,000 members on stage? Because it feels like there's 3,000 members in this band.
Guitar, drum, vocal. I would say there's maybe about 10 people up there.
Really?
It sounds like
backup?
it sounds like a
Between the
full.
horns, they
Yeah.
got the horn sections. This is going back like almost 10 years, so it's a little
But even then,
a little fuzzy. But
even
like
10
three
members.
vocals, 3 vocalists, the drums. I think they had a percussion player, keyboard, everything. It was just freaking insane.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where, in the time, there were bands like this, Gap Band and a few others, but man, nobody did it.
like that. And also, this song was written as an extra for a greatest hits album. This was never on an album.
Really?
Yeah.
Very
I
interesting.
have these.
Yeah.
I have a bad habit of doing these YouTube deep dives, and I watched this like maybe about a month
Not a
ago.
bad habit.
No, I
unless
mean-
unless it keeps you from eating.
Yeah, basically it does. But I was watching something. They were talking about like the history of the song and how they went into it and this and that. And it was 3 songwriters. I actually had it was Maurice White, the guitar player, and then some outside writer. I forget what her name was. And the entire chorus was like, la di da. I'm not even going to try singing it, but the body.
You just did. Merciful.
Yeah, horribly. But like, the other songwriter was like, "What the fuck are you doing? That sounds like shit. You got to take that out." It's like, nah, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just a song. And after the song was released and it exploded, the songwriter was like, "Okay, you're right."
And it's not like it did well. It is their most famous song.
Yeah.
It's been in movies, soundtracks. It's been
Oh yeah.
commercials.
As
I
soon
mean,
as it started, you know what it is.
yeah. I don't know about you, but being an internet creep, every September this comes up.
Oh, the memes. Yeah. Right.
No, this song come every time. Like, I don't even remember the date. I just see it online. I'm like, yes.
21st.
21st. I always forget the number. I'm terrible with numbers.
Yeah.
But the 21st of September every time, and it's always a giggle. Always a giggle
Why?
for me. I don't know. It just tickles a place in my heart. Thankfully, it's up here.
What? Thank God it.
We'll get to other lists where stuff tickles a little lower. You know what I'm saying? A little tickle. You know, a little tickle.
It's the second time you brought that up on this.
Hey,
thing.
stuff tickles. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, there's so little to critique or comment on. These guys are amazing. Philip Bailey, one of the singers.
Yes.
So Philip Bailey did Easy Lover with Phil Collins.
Okay.
Everyone, I don't know about you, but most of the time that comes up as a Philip Bailey song, not
Yes,
a Phil Collins
it
song.
is.
Does it really?
It's a Philip Bailey song.
It's a Phil Bailey song.
Huh.
And then Phil Collins ended up releasing it on his greatest hits later
Yeah.
on. And to me, hands down, end of story. I will fight you on it. Easy Lover, greatest pop song ever written. Done.
I agree. I definitely agree, because that's the song. If it comes up in the shuffle, it's getting played beginning to end. And if somebody interrupts me, I'm hitting back and starting it over. I love that song.
Fucking weirdos.
Oh,
All right.
That was that,
Whoa.
oh, dogs and a plane. Jesus Christ.
I thought they were going to land on us.
Okay, so the next one is Big Takeover by the Bad Brains.
Yeah.
Now, I was actually talking about that. I saw a video of them playing at CB's
Yes.
not too long ago, and I was like, these guys are just pure punk energy.
Yeah.
And this is
And it's so powerful. So
wild.
so much what you think punk would be is this. And I think this is where it probably came from.
Mm-hmm.
That jumping around and
I can wholeheartedly agree with that. And this is funny because I feel like the Bad Brains and Living Color are two sides of the same coin.
okay.
One is a level of intensity and wild, and the other one is that same level of intensity and super control.
But yeah.
Because they have that tight sound. The Bad Brains are not a tight sound; they are very much a punk, wild.
And
energy.
this is, remember I told you, I don't know if we said it on the podcast or I told you, just talking. This is the sound that I liked, that raw
yes, because
sound.
you like the stuff that I listen to is way too produced.
like
for you.
I don't know if you've heard Mike, but
Yeah.
he plays stuff that's like, and you too, I know. Holy crap! It's like a fucking epic.
Yeah.
Like I play it and I'm seeing like fucking dragons and
What's
fucking-
the
I'm like,
longest song I've
holy
played for you?
Shit.
What's
Huh?
the longest song I've given you?
I don't know.
It's got to be 6-7 minutes.
I almost gave
Yeah.
you guys a 20-something minutes.
I knew it was there somewhere.
For one of the other playlists.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I cut down a song on one of the other playlists because of how long it was.
you were mad at me for the intro in Little Drummer Boy. Imagine how mad you would be if there was a full poem at the beginning of a song and then a full poem at the end. That exists.
Go kill yourself.
William Shatner.
No. Please.
Full poem.
He hasn't heard that yet.
Take
It hasn't
po-
come yet.
What's that?
My comments on William
Oh, it's-
Shatner. You'll see, motherfucker. Yeah, no, the Bad Brains, they're just pure. Like, I don't know where these guys, I didn't look up where they're from initially.
DC.
They're a DC band.
Yeah.
So this is the DC punk sound. I
Yes.
don't care
Yeah.
whatever else
Yeah,
came
this-
out of DC, this is it.
No, well, it's Minor Threat. It's I believe Black Flag. Black Flag's West Coast.
Yeah,
I think.
but it's this and stuff that wanted to sound like this.
Yeah,
So it's this.
yeah,
These guys were just amazing.
yeah. And by the way, do you listen to the Beastie Boys? You don't listen to the Beastie Boys?
I have never voluntarily or
What the
consensually listened
fuck?
to the Beastie Boys.
There's a
The only time
there's
I
a
have-
specific sample that the Beastie Boys use from this song, and it's that first part that when the song kicks in. They've used that.
I wouldn't know. I
Same
never
here.
voluntarily listened to them.
The only
Fuck is wrong with you?
the only time I voluntarily listened to the Beastie Boys is when I had to learn the songs to play them with the pigeons.
Oh my god.
This is the
Not
thing.
my thing.
This is what happens to me with a lot of the stuff that you guys have picked. Like once I hear a lot of samples and loops and stuff like that, like I just turn off.
Because he starts picking apart where they're from.
Yeah, not only that,
but that's-
not only that, but also when you go back further, like before the 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
once drum machines started becoming popular and stuff like this, I'll listen to something back. I'm like, okay, it's a drum machine.
Yeah.
Okay, like even with the Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
I'm like that goddamn sample drum snare freaking fill loop that they keep throwing in
Yeah.
on it. I was just like, if you could take that and put it with like a band.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a traditional rock band. It could be like whatever. I would like it so much
Now I
more.
wonder. You know what? I haven't looked this up, but a lot of hip hop bands and whatnot, and especially recently, they play with a live band behind them now.
That started because of LL Cool J doing the Unplugged.
Yeah.
He did an entire Unplugged with a piano player and a full band.
Yeah.
And they did like Mama Said Knock You Out and all that stuff. And the drummer was literally playing the breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And the keyboard player was playing what would normally be scratch tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was phenomenal,
Yeah.
but very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the early
couldn't
2000s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, when Unplugged,
Yeah,
Unplugged
when Unplugged was
yeah.
huge before, they just decided to shelve the idea.
Yeah, and put
And stop
Jersey
playing
Shore
music.
on 24 hours a day.
Oh, man. There were a couple of those that never got to air either.
Is
There were a couple Unplugged. Queensryche did an Unplugged.
Oh, thank God that didn't
I
air.
love Queensryche.
No, dude, that was fantastic.
No, there's the recording
I
of it that
say these
exists.
things just to piss
It was
you
so
off.
good.
Dude,
Just like you guys just said, you didn't listen to Beastie Boys.
You gotta hear their cover on the Unplugged of Scarsborough
I
Fair.
think I have. I think I've heard that.
It exists out there, but it was never released
Yeah,
by
yeah.
MTV or as
Isn't
an
that where the
official
famous recording of Silent Lucidity came from too? Isn't that from that? There's like an acoustic version of
Yes.
Silent
That- yeah,
Lucidity.
that's
recording. That's where it's from,
Yeah.
but
Right?
it never
it never
got,
aired.
I never even I didn't have cable till like 2002, so I didn't even know.
Yeah. It was unfortunate that they got shafted.
Yeah.
And LL Cool J honestly did really well.
Yeah.
That's who ended up getting aired instead
Yeah.
of them. And they were mad about that, I guess.
Yeah.
But who cares? It came out. That changed. That's another thing that changed hip hop is the introduction of live bands to performances like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think that would have happened any other way without MTV.
yeah.
Now we come to the hard stuff.
What's that? Oh, your stuff.
Yeah, I picked some weird shit.
Go ahead.
The first one,
it definitely was.
it's a two-parter. It's the original and then an accessible version. The first one is Sun House. The second is Curtis Stigers and the Forest Rangers with John the Revelator.
Yeah.
Now we agreed a long time ago when we started this that we were not going to do anything religious.
Right.
This is a spiritual. This is it's a slave song, and these are all based in religion. Either based in religion or old stories. And in this case, this is about John the Baptist.
Yeah. See, this I had no idea. Never heard this in my life.
So the
Either
Sun
version.
House,
Either
the
version.
Sun House version is I believe, just him clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his voice is just so soulful.
Now, what is that from? Is that from like that? Sounds like the 30s or
These
40s.
initially that is from the
That's-
late 20s.
Oh wow.
That-
And this song goes
Oh,
back
even
all the way
longer.
back.
Yeah.
This was a field work song.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where these songs came from. All the things that started what we consider now Dixieland jazz and the Delta blues
Right. Came from the field.
came from
Yeah.
the fields.
Yeah.
And this is what led to modern day blues and hard rock.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to hear the original versions and catch it,
No, but that's why you put the second version on, because
To
it
make it-
actually
to make people kind of hear where it grew into.
Yeah.
And this was the Curtis Stigers version was recorded for a compilation disc called From Sons of Anarchy. Mm-hmm. It's actually featured in the end of season 1.
I don't know.
It's the last.
I didn't
it's the
watch
last-
Sons of Anarchy.
Likewise.
It's neither here nor there. But this song is a powerful song.
Yeah.
It's a religious song, and Curtis Stigers, who was known in the '80s as a pop croony guy, went full. He has a jazz band, like he's a big band singer. He did this, and this is so powerful, and his voice is so wild. For this, it sounds perfect for the style, even though he is the whitest of white men. But taking this style, I know, it sounds
Yeah.
like we're about to be airdrop supplies. There's never been this much air
Yeah.
traffic in this neighborhood. Are they diverting shit from JFK?
I don't know.
So Curtis Stigers did this, and it was so good. And Sunhouse, there's you can feel pain in his voice, and I think that's what these songs, unfortunately, became, because they were these songs that they were used to create a work motion
Yeah.
and under slavery, and that's where the best music comes from pain
Yeah.
across the board. So when we think of popular music, we think of the stuff that grew from something horrible, and unfortunately,
This is the most horrible.
this is the most the most horrible that we know about.
Right.
You know, we don't know where other music came from, but we can see where this came from, because we are in the end product of the changes that have started.
Yeah.
But spirituals and slave hymns and the religious stuff that was literally whipped upon people grew into gospel and
Soul
Dixieland
and
jazz, soul, and Delta blues.
Yeah.
All the stuff that became hard rock and heavy metal, and it grew so fast. Like when you think about other musics, they nothing changed this quickly.
Right.
Like
And then it's the. Are we back to back with yours on this one?
No, I had to put something in between,
Oh, all
because
right.
we need a little breather, because it's a little rough on the playlist.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like and then another jab as
Yeah.
soon as you breathe in. But I felt like I love the song. It reminds me of my friend John. He loved this song.
Yeah.
It has this energy that just felt so like it's supposed to be, that religious theme, but it has a feeling like it's pulling you.
Yeah. But this it's good to play on this episode, because it's
so
the history.
important for
It's
it,
the
yeah.
history of where black music came from.
Absolutely. And
Our
then-
music came from.
And
Not
then
our music. Jesus Christ.
Our music being heavy metal,
Yeah.
punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all of that comes from, and the people who say it didn't
Right,
are
of
full of shit.
Right.
This came from black music.
Right.
Heavy metal came from black music.
Right.
If it weren't for Sister Rosetta Tharpe, if it wasn't for guys like this, there would be no Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
There would be no Led Zeppelin, no
Hendrix.
Hendrix. There would be none of that.
Clapton.
Right.
So without recognizing the roots, you can't recognize the tree.
Right.
And the tree is gigantic. And it does go from R&B and hip hop all the way to I'll go as far as death metal.
Yeah.
And that comes down the list, that comes in very important. But in between that, you get guys from the blaxploitation era. Blaxploitation from the 70s, late
Yeah.
60s, early 70s, doing film soundtracks. Most commonly, everyone thinks of Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about somebody better. I think Curtis Mayfield did it better.
Yes.
It was so soulful.
Yes. And also, the other thing with it is, like, I was actually torn between going with Shaft, Isaac Hayes, or Curtis Mayfield on this. This song
Yeah.
is Pusher Man from the movie.
Yes, yes.
It's from the soundtrack of the
Superfly.
movie Superfly. Thank you. But the thing is, like, the movie was your typical blaxploitation movie. The guy's a pimp and he's drug running and this
Right.
and that, whatever. But when you actually sit down and listen to the lyrics of Pusher Man and the other songs on the soundtrack, he's actually going the opposite direction of it. He's not glorifying it.
Yeah.
He's
No.
not glorifying the the gangster lifestyle. He's not glorifying the drugs or anything like this. There's actually a song on it on the album, Freddy's Dead, which is one of the characters. I haven't seen the movie in so long. I can't remember if he was killed in a bad deal or he OD'd. Because it's just going the opposite direction on things.
It very much brought to life the energy of the movie, and it brought to light what the movie was actually about, not the because blaxploitation makes these characters seem like they're good guys.
Yeah.
And the vocals go just the opposite way. They're saying this is the guy who's giving you what
Right.
you need, but he's killing you
He's
slowly.
killing you. Yeah.
And it was so good. And Curtis Mayfield had a great life up until the very end. He was a member of the vocal group The Impressions. And in 1999, he was doing a show in Brooklyn at Flatbush Avenue, specifically Wingate Field. He was hit by a falling stage light,
Yeah, the lighting rig
Jesus.
fell off.
and he was paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh my God. All
But
right.
It did not stop his career. He put out 2 more albums,
Yeah.
one of which he sang on. They laid him down on the floor, and the pressure of the gravity
Gravity.
on his lungs, he was able to belt. So he was able to still sing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He died. That happened in 1990. He passed
Yeah.
away in 1999 from complications due to diabetes
Wow.
after an amputation and
Right.
other
Yeah.
problems. When your body doesn't work, it doesn't work
Right,
right on
obviously.
many levels. But his career was constantly moving until the incident, and it only slowed him down.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was the guy who, had he gone, he probably would have gone until the late 2000s,
Uh-huh.
and he would have been still making music and still performing. He was still up and dancing when he was hit.
Oh,
He
yeah?
was, dancing, singing. He was a consummate performer.
Yeah.
He was amazing. And it sadly, later than we think of people getting cut short, he was cut short.
Yeah.
And this entire soundtrack, was it Trouble Man? Was the other one?
no, Pusher Man.
No, Pusher Man. No, there's another
Superfly.
it was the Superfly soundtrack. He did
No,
one
no,
other
the song-
album.
Another album. Oh.
And I can't remember what it was, but it was another like this, but super verbose. His style was very much that 70s,
Chicka Chicka Wow.
which is another thing that nobody credits African Americans for, the invention of the wah pedal.
Wah pedal, yeah.
The wah pedal was invented by a black man, and it changed not only heavy metal, it changed music forever.
Yeah.
I know keyboard players that use wah pedals. I know people who use them as a vocal attenuator.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, and it's the simplest design applied across the board. You know, people used to play with their tone knob on a guitar. All it is a tone knob, and it goes from treble to bass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, a bass wah pedal is completely different. It's an envelope filter, and it moves to where the Q is, and it's complicated.
The fuck?
Yeah, it's
Lots of math.
bass wahs. There's a peak in the wave.
Yeah.
It literally moves the peak of the wave
Oh,
instead
okay.
of moving
all right.
the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very interesting, but that wouldn't exist without a guy. I think they called him Chicka, and he made a wah pedal.
Yeah.
And it literally was it was a board and another board on a hinge.
Yeah.
With a set of teeth and a tone knob.
Yeah.
And you put your guitar on one side out to the amp, and as he did, and he was just the whole time he played, he'd be waka 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 waka
Yeah.
the whole time.
Waka waka.
He put out a song I think called Waka Waka.
Sorry.
I wish it was a joke.
I know.
But
Stop
it was-
yelling at me.
I'm not yelling at you yet.
You're looking at me like
Your time
no,
will come,
that's-
motherfucker.
Oh,
it
boy.
will come.
Not on this list.
No, you're in the clear for this list. Just this list. But yeah, no, the fact that all these things got invented and pushed and designed for music and not recognized.
Yeah.
Like we recognize the wah pedal as being a great thing.
But we never knew where it came from. I
We
never
did.
knew where it came from.
I only found out because they did a documentary on the history of the wah pedal.
Yeah.
Dunlop did it because they were releasing all these new custom pedals, one of which being the Jimi Hendrix wah.
Yeah.
It has what they got his sound out of with new electronics. So it would last longer. But when they talk about it, they talk about the original wah pedals, and they were just pieces of wood with a tone knob in there, and it's amazing. When you think about the first distortion pedals, it wasn't. It was all the volumes cranked.
Right.
That wasn't.
Hendrix also poking holes in his speakers to get
No,
the
that was
distortion?
Jimmy Page.
Okay, my mistake.
Razor slits. He was taking a razor blade and cutting
Also
little
to
slits
buzz?
in the speaker.
to get the fuzz.
Yeah.
If you ever wonder how the first 3 Black Sabbath albums are so distorted, because they literally rolled everything up to max volume and mixed from the mixing board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, great way to damage amplifiers.
Right.
But back to the stories. Back to this. Curtis Mayfield was phenomenal. This perfect song. This is one of those times where, if you don't know Curtis Mayfield, look him up. Look up the Superfly soundtrack.
Do
look
yourself
up
that favor.
Yeah.
and look up Superfly, because it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It is part of a very specific style of cinema history, blaxploitation. If you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino and
will
fan of
enjoy it.
Grindhouse, blaxploitation is very specific, and you'll see. Oh man, I can't. Pam Grier,
Yes.
because Pam Grier was
was in it?
no,
I-
but
okay.
she wasn't in that, but she's heavily featured in blaxploitation
Yeah.
movies, and she was a Quentin Tarantino favorite for Jackie Brown.
Yes. Jackie Brown. Yeah.
So now we go to your last pick.
Yes.
And if it wasn't going to make the room awkward, I'd kiss you on the forehead. You pick, and I did
There
not
was-
know.
yes.
I did not know that there was a punk band named Death
Before there was death.
before there was Death. I grew up listening to Death, and by grew up I mean I was in my late teens, early 20s,
Which they consider the first death metal band.
which they weren't.
That's what I
They
mean.
were
I
thrash.
never thought of it that way.
They were really thrash, but their name Death stuck,
Right.
and that style grew from there.
Right.
These guys were not that.
No.
These guys are, and this I hate. The song "Keep on Knocking" by Death is considered
Proto-punk. Right.
which
I didn't.
this is insulting for a reason. When we think of punk, we think of, I'm going to go with the standards: Iggy and the Stooges, and
Right.
and the Ramones, all the white guys.
Yeah.
The guys who built up punk, they don't want to call them punk.
Mm-hmm.
They call them proto-punk, the guys who are the prototype for it.
Right.
They don't want to give them the official title. These were Detroit guys. They're a family band.
Dude, I
could not believe that. You never hear of family
I
bands.
haven't listened to them often, but I knew they were around. I picked this band. It actually taught me some stuff as well, because I knew they were around. I never heard them, but I've heard a couple of songs, but this one came up when I was looking them up, because I always heard that there was a band named Death that was a black band before the band we know.
Yes.
Right? And I looked it up, and this song was like, I think the first or second one on the, and I fucking love it, man.
Can I just throw a timeout?
Yeah.
Talk about the other Death for a second.
Go
the
ahead.
thrash band. The best rhythm section in heavy metal.
Okay.
Richard Christie, Steve DiGiorgio. One of the best rhythm sections.
Yeah.
These guys were amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. Steve DiGiorgio is another one of those feeble finger reaching bass players.
Okay.
Fretless player, plays so fast. Now back to this Death. Family band, Bobby David and Dennis, not Dennis, Hackney. Detroit guys, they have the Detroit rock sound.
It definitely has.
Well,
I
that's what was
loved
gonna
it.
Say, to me, like, they weren't punk. For what? It's a bad choice for the.
It sounds. If
It's
you look
more-
at it, it says It also says garage rock. I think it's closer to.
I hate that
Yeah.
term.
I know, but
same here.
it's closer to that sound than I feel the punk.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. I feel like this was how it started. Like, listening to Sister Rosetta Tharpe, you can hear Creedence. You can hear
Yeah.
these other bands in that. You can. I definitely hear Bad Religion in this.
I hear.
Black
Which-
Flag.
No, I hear. What the hell's Wow, Clutch. I hear Clutch.
I don't
this
know enough
a
about
lot.
Clutch,
You're
and we
gonna
have to work on that.
Yes.
You're gonna think I'm crazy on this one, but I actually hear Thin Lizzy in this.
Okay.
Yes.
I got that.
But
Yeah.
Thin Lizzy taken from them.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I
You
mean?
can hear
But
that-
that's where. But that's why we're talking about it. This is where it started.
Yeah. And
You know?
and Thin Lizzy was not a. That's why to me I'm like maybe just the way he's singing on it.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some Phil Lynott in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm like, this was freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
But like I said, to me, it's not so like I hate garage rock. Also,
I know.
but
I know
I feel dirty saying
It
that.
feels
but-
like it delegitimizes
what they did.
what they did,
Yeah.
and these guys are way more legit than most.
But I mean, I know the sound
their-
they mean.
yeah.
I know, and that's what I hear here. You know, I mean, I do hear the punk part of it. I do, but I hear more of a rock band than a punk rock band.
I think that's where punk rock, because these guys are often recognized as the first punk rock band.
Yes.
And that's where it's punk rock, not just punk.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about ska is punk and reggae and other things mixed together.
Right.
And then when you listen to like thrash metal is punk and heavy metal melded together. It's all these things combined. This was the combination of rock and roll and the beginning of punk rock.
Yeah.
And this is when we talk about the glass ceiling, these were the guys who hit the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then the next guys after them were straight through it.
Which is what sucks because they never made it past this.
Yeah.
Which is what amazes me is when I was looking and I found this and I was like, this is so good.
It's so good.
And it never got past this.
It feels like it was over before it started.
Yeah.
But it was honestly a lot of the times things that are so good get kneecapped because they're so good.
Right.
And so
Nobody
different,
realizes it.
They don't realize until
Yeah.
way later. And
Yeah.
if I had a goal, this would be to elevate this song.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would elevate more than I'm going to knock the next one.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Well, we're going to praise one person, knock another.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So with this, we have Leadbelly
Okay.
and Ram Jam
Yes.
with Black Betty.
Yes.
Now, everybody's heard Ram Jam's version of Black Betty.
Yes.
Everybody. My son knows this song.
I heard nothing of it in the first song. I mean, I know where it came from, but they changed it so much. They just took the chorus.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
But Leadbelly, their whole song is that chorus.
Right.
That's all they did is steal a chorus and
and just jam around it.
jam around it.
Yeah.
That's all it really was.
It's a bunch of white hippie stoners goofing off. But Leadbelly, another guy, Leadbelly has a string of songs like this.
Yeah.
Some with a little bit of guitar, some with nothing in the background. Some clapping, some with another two voices in the back doing like just humming.
Yeah.
All of it is pure. And this is where the term soul comes from. It was Leadbelly.
Yeah.
It was the soul in his voice, the power. And Ram Jam just makes it easily accessible to the masses.
Yeah, but no one would know where it came from.
No, and that's the thing. When we talk about covers,
Yeah.
if you do a good cover, you think it's an original. And in this case, everyone thought Black Betty was an original.
Oh, okay. All right.
The same way we were joking about Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe's a shit song, but that is a real song from way back. And it's terrible. It was terrible then, it's terrible now. Ram Jam tried to make something out of this song, and it sticks in your head.
It's enjoyable. Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's enjoyable.
listen,
it exists.
yeah. But you're sitting in a bar and that comes on. Guess what? You're singing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Because there's 8 words and you can sing them if you're blackout drunk.
And I was about to, wow, you beat me too. I was about to say, and you're drunk.
Blackout drunk. And there's not much to
there's not much.
Well, one thing that you had on it, because the link that you had sent said it was like I forget. I think it was like songs that inspired Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh, I remember Zeppelin getting sued. I think on the first or the first 2 albums for ripping a bunch of stuff off.
You want to try that again? First 2?
Oh,
all of
3,
them?
4, 5. The first 4?
First 4.
Okay. But so then I did a little bit of a deep
Everyone
dive.
from Spirit to Leadbelly's I don't know if it was his family or his estate. Everyone went after him.
Yeah.
Went after Led Zeppelin because they were so. Some of them were direct ripoffs.
Right. And then I saw as I was doing a little bit of research on it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw lists of covers and everything of Leadbelly, and there were 2 songs on it that when I first heard them, I was like 8 years old, so I had no idea what a cover even was at that point. But they're both Creedence songs. Again,
Yep.
flipping back to the beginning with Sister Rosetta Tharpe. that it was the Midnight Special and oh my god,
That's
drawing
not a song.
no, I know I'm drawing a blank on this song, but they're both off of Willie and the Poor Boys from Creedence, and fantastic stuff. Again, going back to where rock and roll what we call now rock and roll, it all comes back to this.
Yeah, and it's important to remember and to recognize that this stuff, not only that it happened, but that it's the foundation of what we have. You know, we always take it for, everyone talks about Elvis being the king of rock and roll.
But without
Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Leadbelly and all these other guys, he wouldn't exist.
Right, but a lot of his stuff was covers anyway, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
in the beginning.
Yeah.
But even the stuff that wasn't, Bill Burr jokes around about watching a documentary of Elvis and his wife sitting next to him getting madder by the second.
Well, his wife's black.
Yeah, his wife is black, and she's sitting there and she goes, "Do you hear what he's saying?" He's like, "What?" And he goes, "What?" And this country guy's like, "What we did was took the down and dirty blues and added to the beautiful, serene vocals of bluegrass."
Right.
Oh my
And he's
God.
taking all the music, all the root stuff, all the real soulful music, and shitting on it, and putting together the white hillbilly made bluegrass,
Right.
and raising it up, and it couldn't be further from the truth. If you look at, like, I always joke about how fucked up country is. Like, if you look at country music, there is, I mean, murder and death and every crime you can imagine. And then if you want to look at, the history books, some of the worst crimes in music have been carried out by Jerry Lee Lewis. Just second to Jerry Lee Lewis is Chuck Berry, but that's a different story. Chuck Berry likes to watch people go to the bathroom without their permission. That's a different problem. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. 13-year-old cousin. Don't forget the 13. Yeah. Elvis married a teenager. Mm-hmm. You didn't hear a lot of those problems with other musicians.
Well, Steven Tyler.
The
parents signed off a 15-year-old to him.
Same thing with Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She's beautiful. Leilani? I don't know. Either way, he basically bought himself a teenager. Jesus Christ. You don't hear about that with other musicians.
Yeah.
And these are the guys who claim that they invented heavy metal and rock and roll. No, it's the guys who are working for a living and doing blues bands and jazz bands at night.
Yeah.
Billy Crystal has a stage show called 700 Sundays. It's incredibly weird because he's talking about the 700 Sundays he had with his father when he died. When his father died when he was like 13. He said, "I only got 700 Sundays
Wow.
with him," and the reason he only counts the Sundays
Yeah.
is because it's the only day of the week he was guaranteed to see his dad.
At
Because his
church.
dad was Billy Crystal's Jewish. He's
I
gonna
don't
see him
know.
at church. His dad was a jazz.
That's what I think of when I think of Sunday.
His dad was a jazz
Why?
booker and ran a record label.
Okay. All right.
And he did everything for the bands. So he said every once in a while, all the bands would come over.
Yeah.
These guys would come over and they'd be playing stuff in the living room. He goes, it'd be, Jews and jazz, bourbon and brisket. It'd be a great time. And Billy Crystal has moments of being completely off and weird.
Yeah.
But in that, I love that he recognizes that if it wasn't for those black musicians, every other piece of music would be worthless. So we've covered the two hardest things, Leadbelly and Sunhouse. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to talk about I think this is the most recent in the group.
Yeah, it is the most recent. That's it's actually Silk Sonic, Fly As Me.
Which is Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars.
And the
Yeah.
reason
This is you?
Yeah.
Shocked me.
The
All right,
reason,
go ahead.
The reason I picked this song off the album, and I gotta say, this album, like, I heard Anderson .Paak I had never heard of before.
Right.
Bruno, it showed up one day on YouTube for me. And
Yeah.
Bruno Mars, I knew who he was, heard some stuff here and there, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Again, the little I heard sounded like it was written on a computer. And
Yeah.
this is something that's always going to come up with me. When it sounds like somebody's sitting there programming it, my mind just turns off. So I'm like, okay, if the guy's got a good voice, not my thing. When I heard this, the first song I heard, I think, was Smoking Out the Window. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is just like old school, like the freaking Manhattans, the Delphonics, like all the old doo-wop stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And the only reason I picked this song is it's the most modern sounding.
Yeah.
Out of
It does sound
everything.
modern.
It doesn't matter though.
It sounds
No, I
modern,
know,
but still
it's
has
just-
that classic feel.
But it still has a classic feel, and this is two guys, and they played every goddamn instrument
Yes.
on the album.
Yeah.
Nobody sitting there programming loops and this and that. It's just playing their freaking hearts out, and that's it. And if they ever come around, this is one thing we got to go see.
All right.
I'll do it. I have no problem with that. This song feels a little douchey to me.
Yeah.
Just a
No,
little
it is big time.
Why does it feel douchey?
I don't know, but
It is. It's
unfortunately, TikTok has ruined
Oh, it's-
these
yeah.
two for me for the this bitch. I think about it randomly. I'm like, this bitch. In my head.
oh.
in my head.
It's in my head
out loud.
all the time.
You're not
No,
walking down the
I do it out loud too. I don't give a shit. Yeah, no, it's really fun. The fact that they do everything themselves, it very much reminds me of Prince, another guy who gets very little credit for the effect he had on the universe. You know, as much as
Bruno
like,
Mars is
Bruno
very
Mars is
talented in himself.
Yeah.
right in that vein.
Yeah.
We joke about Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson's another guy who smashed glass ceilings.
Yeah.
And the Jackson 5 smashed glass ceilings. And Joe Jackson smashed his kids. He beat the shit out of those kids. He literally beat the black off of one of them. It was terrible. But the Jack I got two people almost folded over on that one.
I don't know how we go further.
What else is there to say? Joe Jackson beat his kids. The only one that came out all right is Janet, and only kinda.
Yeah.
There was one guy hit so bad he named all his kids Jermaine. It's like George Foreman got knocked around by Ali, started calling all his kids George. It was George, Georgette, Georgina. I wish that was a joke. And
I know,
Jermaine,
I know.
I joke about Jermaine Jackson. He didn't name both of his kids Jermaine. He named his his oldest son Jermaine. His youngest is Your Majesty.
Shut up.
I swear that is this child. He's a grown man.
Yeah.
His son's name is Your Majesty Jackson, which, by the way, is alliteration on a level that I hate because the double J's, and then it's hard to pronounce.
What? Wait, is that your tism? Is that what you're talking about? Double J's, you can't have two letters?
Well, when you have okay, so when my mom was pregnant with me,
Yeah.
she wanted to name me Seamus until she tried to say my full name. Try to say
Sanchez.
Yeah, try to say it fast.
Seamus Sanchez. I can
It's
say it.
very difficult.
No, it's not. Not for
Well,
me.
maybe if you have a full-formed fucking face, I don't know. Seamus Sanchez sounds like everyone's going to go Seamus Sanchez. Not going to have that happen.
Seamus. That is
Seamus.
why?
Because she's Irish as shit.
Oh, all right.
I don't know.
Oh.
Well, she didn't want to name. She initially didn't want to name me after my grandfather.
Okay.
So she thought Seamus would be a good Irish name.
What was your grandfather's name?
Do you really want to know?
Please.
David.
Oh.
So my mom,
Wait, your Irish grandfather is named David?
he was German.
Oh, okay.
So my father wanted to name me Cuchillo.
What the
Now, wait, I want a timeout. Michael,
Oh,
what does
wow.
Cuchillo mean in
Oh,
Spanish?
okay, wait, hang on.
Knife.
What?
How is that not the most accurate name for me ever? Now, you can ask my father, what did you want to name Dave? And he'll say, Cuchillo. And he's told me a bunch of times, he goes, I didn't even realize it was going to be the most accurate thing I ever said.
But why?
I don't know. He liked the name.
That's not a name, it's a noun.
Okay, my dad was in a Puerto Rican street gang. I'm not going to, if you look at my dad's hand, he has a tattoo.
yeah.
He has a gang tattoo.
Yeah.
When he was young,
Yeah.
he was in a gang. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to talk about my dad like this, but he was in a fucking street gang.
Yeah.
They all have the same tattoo.
Uh-huh.
And the list of guys in this group had nicknames. And I don't know who was Cuchillo, but he liked that name.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that he picked that one and not his other friend, who they call Mojon con Pelo.
Whoa, what the fuck does that
Michael,
mean?
do you want to tell him what Mojon con Pelo, or should I? Okay.
Go for it. I
Mojon
can't.
con Pelo. Okay, so they weren't all Puerto Rican.
Fat bastard? What does it
No.
mean?
Okay, so this group of guys, not all of them were Puerto Rican. One of them was Indian.
Okay.
Mojon con Pelo means a ball of shit with hair on it. So, also
Still
racist.
accurate.
I'm gonna text my wife. You said that. Oh my god, it's gonna be bad. So, mojon con pelo, cuchillo. I'll take cuchillo every time. And how did we get on this? I don't know.
I don't know, but I think we have to end it.
No, we don't. We're not. I'm not done.
Why?
Because in this group, there was also my Uncle
God.
Junior.
Okay.
The first person I knew in my life with one leg.
Okay.
I told you I know multiple people in
Egg
life.
leg or like?
He had a prosthetic leg, but
Okay.
he lost his leg from the hip down.
Yeah.
Also, funny story. He woke up one morning, said my leg hurts, and my grandmother. You know, they all lived together. My grandmother and my great aunts would get one of them would get the kids ready for school.
Right.
And he said I don't feel well, and my grandmother beat the shit out of him because he didn't want to go to school and sent him to school. And the next day, he said, "Oh, my leg hurts. I don't want to go to school," and she beat the shit out of him and sent him to school. And the third day, he got up and went to school.
And his leg fell off?
No, they called 911 from the school because his leg was purple.
Gangrenous?
No.
Or whatever the hell you say.
He had a fever. He had a tumor in his upper leg.
Oh my
God.
god.
They had to remove the leg at the hip, which is one of the worst amputations you can have.
Right.
It's the most painful. It's the hardest. To wear a prosthetic, you have to wear, it looks like a big plastic piece of underwear
Okay.
that holds the leg on.
Right.
So up until a few years ago, that leg was in our basement because he never used it. He used 2 canes. So it was just hanging out in our basement. I don't know why. He didn't live with us.
Well, they needed somewhere to keep it.
So Black History Month ends with a peg leg hanging out in the basement. A fully formed leg that did not bend in my basement. Has nothing to do with this. Happy Black History Month, everyone. We love you.
We have a website. It's hitthestagepodcast.com.
Yes.
I don't even know how to end this fucking thing.
Good.
All right, go ahead.
Hitthestagepodcast.com. Instagram, I am basher.exe.
I'm Nugs29.
And Michael doesn't have social media.
Yeah, he...
Good luck, motherfuckers. Good luck finding him. It's terrible. I want to send him shit all day, and I got nothing. And I have to try to send. He's like, I can't see it. I can't log in. And why don't you just have a ghost account?
I don't want to bother with it.
All right, whatever. All right, I guess I'll keep sending you screenshots of bullshit.
Yeah, that works.
All right, until next time, take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. I love you guys.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Hail Halford.
Hail Halford.
Hail Halford.